name of Allah, beneficiary of the most merciful. Members of the High Table, my fellow comrades, it's a pleasure for me to stand before you here to speak on this very important topic of the hour, which has bedeviled this nation. It's not taken with clipping. I thank the organizers, Northern Comrade Movement of Nigeria, for organizing this talk. The topic of the lecture is supposed to say key factors escalating insecurity, role of leaders, and the pragmatic solutions. I will start by quoting something that was attributed to the late General Abacha, the former head of state. He said, if insurgency lasts for more than 24 hours, the government has a hand in it. That's the fact. This statement outlines and summarizes, without undue oversimplification of the complex, delicate matter, the crux of the matter. Of course, that will be either by omission or commission. However, here, I said now, I believe it is by omission, not by commission. I don't think the government is aiding or trying to support the insecurity we have known. But by commission, yes. Commission, because of lack of adequate knowledge of the complex problem bordering on inaptitude and the use of wrong tools to address it, and the poor use of the right tools, all combined to produce the security culture we are confronting. So lack of proper knowledge, use of wrong tools, and the poor use of the right tools. When you combine the three, this is what we are facing today. The exigency of time and dictates of reality requires a robust intellectual approach, a positive leadership that is pragmatic in approach, focused, intelligent, and engaging. When we talk of pragmatic solutions, the year 2003 readily comes to mind. If we want to be pragmatic, because this regime is coming to an end. In 1 year, it's very hard for them to institute, to start what can bring this insecurity we have to a halt. It may minimize it, but we cannot. 1 year is too short. So we have to think pragmatically about the next dispensation. What I'm saying here is, when we are approaching an election year, so you should be approaching the year expecting to have the right people. What kind of leadership? A leadership that is focused, intelligent, and also engaging. This is leadership we need. If you want this insecurity to stop. I hope with a new crop of leaders, it will be a year of reconciliation and a brighter future for the nation. Definitely, to solve this insecurity, we need a new crop of leaders. Leaders who understand the situation. Because half of treatment is diagnosis. If you're able to diagnose the problem correctly, then you can apply the medicine. You have done half of the treatment. But to quote my friend, Professor Osman Yusuf, insecurity is a symptom of corruption and bad governance. I add, or lack of governance. We found huge swaths of ungoverned forest controlled by outlawed bandits. And if corruption and bad governance or lack of governance are not tackled, we are going to be going on in cycles. When you talk of Sambisa Forest, or you talk of the Northwestern Forest, which is a very large area of land, you don't see the presence of government. Government is not there in whatever form. So what do you expect? You expect that you have local bandits, outlawed people controlling the area. In the Northeast, we are dealing with an economic problem in an ideological shell. Well, the root cause is economic. Because they are all peasants, happily educated. They are the soldiers. And in the Northwest, it is encapsulated in an ethnic shell. The same thing, economic. Poor, uneducated people covering themselves encapsulated in an ethnic shell. This is compounded by the absence of communication or involvement of local stakeholders. There's a break of the hierarchy of leadership. Everybody's on his own. This is the insecurity. Government is in towns, big towns. But government is absent on our roads, government is absent in our forests. So they have a safe haven to hide. Come out and commit crime and go back. So what are the practical, pragmatic solutions to this problem? Without ruling out the role of kinetic approach, I'm not ruling it out. But you have to use it correctly. You have to use it correctly. I can remember when Boko Haram started, after when they became militant. When did they become militant? That is after killing their leaders, extrajudicially killed on camera. Rather than the government to come and apologize and pay the compensation and say we are wrong, we are Nigerians, and play politics with them. No. They are termed terrorists. I can't imagine. The person that kills other people extrajudicially without recourse to law is the same person calling the victim a terrorist. So until when we reverse the terms, Nigeria will continue to have problems. It's simple. Don't feel too big to say sorry. We have killed your leader, sorry. It's a mistake made. We will pay compensation. Repeatedly. Put down their weapons. Put down your weapons. Come back and join the society. I'm telling you, they will come up and join the society. And as we have seen now, when they have seen a purposeful leadership in Borno State, they are submitting themselves, surrendering in thousands. It's not the military, it's the politics. Because now they have confidence. They will not be cheated. The man has came on air and said, yes, when they repent, they are repentant. So they feel encouraged. But when you come on air and say, when they repent, they don't repent, they never repent. They continue fighting. So when the army was sent to Maiduguri, the army is like a hammer. And all these insurgencies you see, when you compare to the firepower of the military, they are like a fly. They don't have any firepower. AK-47, AK-49, what do they have? That's why Abacha said, if you see an insurgency going 24 hours, because what does an insurgency own that it can stay 24 hours with the might of the military? But the military is like a hammer, using a hammer trying to kill a fly. If I have a hammer here and there's a fly here, I think I will destroy all the gadgets here without killing the fly. So when they took the military to Maiduguri, at a point, people there were saying, we prefer Boko Haram. Because they were searching their house, bringing out their women, doing all that kind of atrocities that is characteristic of an underdeveloped military. We have pictures, we have evidences, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, they have all documented the atrocities committed on Almajiris in the name of fighting Boko Haram. In my Facebook, I have grisly pictures of Almajiris, very poor, very wretched, lined up and killed and dumped in a mass grave. I have it still. That picture torments me up to now. That's why it's persisting. Reduce your military presence and action and improve social amenities and see. Educate them, empower them economically and see. They will stop. Give them amnesty. They will do it. And we have seen they are doing it right now. They and their families. When you have such number of people revolting against a government or a society, such number, and you still call them criminals, terrorists, you shouldn't treat them as criminals and terrorists. Give them that respect. Recognize them and dialogue with them. They will stop it. When you label them as terrorists and you treat them the way West, you see the concept of terrorism, and maybe if there is enough time we'll speak about that briefly. When we start thinking, importing international Western concepts of ideas of conflict resolutions and applying it on local issues, instead of curing it, we compound it and make it worse. And this is actually what happened with Boko Haram. Now 12 years going, and we're still dealing with the same problem. Because you term them terrorists and you don't negotiate with terrorists. Who told you? The people that taught you not to negotiate with terrorists behind are negotiating with their own terrorists. They're negotiating with them. And I wonder who's even the terrorist. People wretched, without nothing, not educated, they didn't benefit from anything from your budget. Neither education, neither health, neither water, they benefited nothing. And then you're calling them terrorists when they're revolting. You kill their leaders without recourse to law, and you're calling them terrorists. So what happened in the Northeast It's the same thing that repeated itself in the Northwest. But this time in the Northwest, it is the Fulani herdsmen. And so I was so sad to realize that what happened in Maiduguri, where I saw Al-Majiris were arrested, incarcerated. At a point, I have a video clip where they were made to slaughter each other on the supervision of our security armed forces. Slaughter each other. So I was so sad to realize this is exactly what happened with the herdsmen. A soldier came to me and confessed. He himself has seen more than 300 dead bodies of women, men, children killed in the name of fighting cattle rustling. Innocent people in Rugas were killed. So they took arms to protect themselves. They took arms to protect themselves. Some people were asking me, how can you go into these people? What dangerous? How did you go in and come back safely? That question shows in your mind, they painted in your mind an evil that cannot be approached. So you'd be surprised somebody will approach them. It's an evil that should be exterminated, that should be killed, that should not. But when you look at it, they are Nigerians, they are underprivileged, that are not allowed to speak. The wrong was done to them. And you call them, please come. I want to listen to your grievances. I want to hear your agitations. Why are you taking arms against society? Come, let us hear. When you say that, you see them trooping, coming. Some of them will walk back for 2-3 days from bush, coming. As I'm sitting with you here, more than your number, they come. Why? Because somebody has come to recognize they are human beings. Why? That they are not criminals, they are agitating. And what we do usually, bring your leader, put a seat for him, sit down close to them, we give him a microphone, say what you have to say. Grievances, I will narrate to you the grievances we hear about them. So we realize this issue can be solved, but what it requires the political will and action. It requires a positive leadership, a leadership that will engage, a leadership that will dialogue with them, a leadership which we don't have. So, dialogue remains the most enduring, important pathway to peace. There should be the engagement of all world parties. The government has to exert its presence not only through might, but through
that can generate conflict. These are policies that a well-defined and ready government should come with. So in terms of national security, the first thing first, there must be the national interest. National interest today, nobody needs to speak English from Harvard or anywhere. We know we are not scared, north and south. In the northeast, we have the Boko Haram situation. In the northwest, we have the kidnapping, banditry, Fulani herdsmen. In the southwest and the southeast, we have the secessionist agitations. So we are not safe. We know that there is insecurity. So security is a national interest. From the security, our national security policy should be in the direction of our national interest. We have the national defense policy. Just as I said before, if you look at our national defense policy, you will see it is centered about the 1940s kind of defense policy where a country is trying to protect itself from external invasions. Ladies and gentlemen, our biggest problem today is internal. So we need to go back into our national defense policy and interrogate that policy. Comrades, today, not just the insecurity in terms of physical killing, physical attacks, we also have a situation of food insecurity. Food insecurity, why? Because there is cattle rustling and the farmers cannot move to the farms and do their normal agricultural activities as before. This is a time bomb on its own. Remember, we have a country of about 200 to 300 million. Very soon, we are getting to 300 million, and then our food production is going down. What answer are we going to give our grandchildren or great-grandchildren? Ladies and gentlemen, we need the right leadership. Some national policies are currently under review, such as the National Defense Policy of 2006. There was a report submitted on the 11th of May 2015, trying to address some of the issues. But for those of us that have the opportunity to go through the National Defense Policy, they will still see a reputation of shortcomings, and they will understand that the policy completely ignores the